I grew up in a Christian family and I was so blessed to grow up in such a positive environment. I certainly knew of God, I knew about God, but I wouldn't say I had a personal relationship with God. It wasn't until I went into my early adult life that I walked away from God. I'd already made plans that I was going to do it my way.
So I've always basically known Jesus. I grew up going through camps, so I've always gone to Christian camps. So I basically call them my church, growing up.
So I think I don't know that I really knew a time in my life where I didn't know Jesus. So I grew up in a Christian family and we would go to church as a family. There were some kind of pivotal moments in my life, and one of them was, I think, just when I was 15 or so in a church service, really understanding Jesus' love for me. And you can know about God and you can be impacted by what God has done, and you can know the truth of His word. The reality of what Jesus has done can hit home for you at different points.
There was a time my pastor Ash, shout out to Ash, she asked to meet for coffee and she listened to me complain and go on, and she told me, why don't you just come to church and commit to going to church? And me being the people pleaser that I am, I said okay, and I came to an Oceans service a couple times, and then about a month in there was a service preaching about anxiety and control, pretty much the exact position that I was in, and I went up to the altar for prayer. From there I just kept going and getting connected into community, and it's been amazing.
I think it's been a couple of years that we started coming to Oceans. Yeah, our experience was actually not being in a great place with our relationship with God, but realising that we needed to come back to church. So that's what we just really loved about Oceans when we came, is that there really was a genuine come as you are response from people, and people actually cared about us as people and also about our relationship with God. So it was really very welcoming church.
I've gone to Oceans for over a year now. When I turned 17, as soon as I got my license, I was like, I'm going to church. I would love to go to church. And so then the Sunday after, I got to go to church, and just the people just welcomed me, and I felt like I belonged within the first minute. Before going to church, I was a bit different because I didn't know the perspectives. So I was just doing my own thing, and then coming to Jesus, He just changed my perspective of seeing the world and His creation.
Jesus has made such a positive difference in my life. I guess from that stage of getting prayer, I have been healed of my eating disorder, healed of my anxiety. I went from being completely lonely and isolated to having a family and a community. I went from feeling completely out of control to trusting God's plan and knowing that He has more in store for me and something good for me.
I think God calls us into community, and we can have a personal encounter with God, and it can be very meaningful and it can change our life. We're much stronger when we're together. When we're needing encouragement, or maybe someone to challenge us, or needing someone to help us to trust in God. We've got people around us that can do that at different stages of our life. That's just such a valuable thing.
My advice for anyone who is thinking about joining a church or thinking about joining a community or growing their relationship in God is just try it. What's the worst that can happen? Get connected, go out of your comfort zone, speak to people. You never know, it could change your life.